Good afternoon and welcome to the February Ordinary Council meeting. Item 1, acknowledgement. We, Greater Shepparton City Council, acknowledge the Yorta Yorta peoples of the land which now comprises Greater Shepparton. We pay our respect to their tribal elders, we celebrate their continuing culture and we acknowledge the memory of their ancestors. Item 2, privacy notice. This public meeting is being streamed live via our Facebook page and made available for public access on our website along with the official minutes of this meeting. Care is taken to maintain your privacy. However, as a visitor in the public gallery, it is assumed that your consent is given in the event that your image is broadcast to the public. It is also assumed that your consent is given to the use and disclosure of any information that you share at the meeting, including personal or sensitive information to any person who accesses those recordings or minutes, and we welcome members in the gallery this afternoon. Item 3, governance principles. Council considers that the recommendations contained in this agenda gives effect to the overarching governance principles stated in section 9.2 of the Local Government Act 2020. These principles are as followed. Councillors are listed 1 to 9 on page 5 of the agenda. Page 6, item 4, apologies. Councillors, there is a recommendation there. Can I have a councillor please move that the apologies be noted, acknowledging that Councillor Stephen Trelfall is with us tonight. There was an error with the print of the agenda. Can I have a councillor move that, please?
Move that, Mayor Sarley.
Ready.
I'll move that the apology from Councillor Fern Summer be noted and a leave of absence be granted.
Councillor Ready. Can I have a councillor second that, please?
Very done.
Sure, thank you. Councillors, all in favour? Motion carried. Item 5, declarations of conflict of interest. Councillors, do we have any conflicts this afternoon?
Yes, Ms. Sally, I'd like to declare a conflict with item 9.1.
9.1.
I'll formally declare that at the time.
Cool. Thank you. Any other conflicts, councillors? No, thank you. Councillor Spinks. Item 6, information of minutes of the previous meeting. Are any of the minutes opposed? Right, councillors, can I get someone please move that recommendation?
Move that, Mayor Sarley. I'll move that the minutes of the 16 December 2025 council meeting as circulated be confirmed.
Thank you, Councillor. Can I have a councillor second that motion? Councillor Wickham. Councillors, all in favour? Motion carried. Item 7, public question time. I will now hand over to our CEO, Fiona Legasic.
Thank you, Mayor Sully. We have received 2 lots of questions from members of the community. First, questions that have been submitted via the governance rules, submitted by Rowan Farren-Parnell, who is, I note, is in the audience here today. So there's 2 questions that have been submitted. First question is, what percentage of briefings and council meetings has each councillor attended in the previous 12 months, excluding mandatory training? Response. Councillor attendance at council briefings and council meetings have been calculated for the 2025 calendar year. The percentage of attendance has been calculated and will be made available when the council meeting minutes are published. If those in attendance would like a printed copy, it can be provided at the conclusion of this meeting. Question number 2, what percentage of the requests for attendance at community events have been attended by councillors individually? The response. Councillors' attendance at invited community events has been calculated for the 2025 calendar year. The percentage of attendance has been calculated and will be available when the council meeting minutes are published. For those in attendance here today, if you would like a printed copy, it can be provided at the conclusion of the meeting. Please note, this data has been collated, not considering specifics, including but not limited to conflicting events, ward-specific events, council business requirements and personal commitments which may impact on attendance percentages. The second round of questions that have been submitted have been done so by Theo Wilson in accordance with our governance rules, and again there are 2 questions here. The first one, I note that early last year Council awarded 2 contracts to Kialla Lawn and Garden in excess of worth $190,000, being the Marlborough Drive Precinct Drainage and Stage 1 of Wetlands Landscape in Kialla. As Kialla Lawn and Garden are now in liquidation, can Council please clarify if these projects were completed prior to the contractor going under, and if not, are ratepayers at a financial loss due to these circumstances? The response. Both projects, Marlborough Drive Precinct Drainage and Stage 1 of the Wetland Landscape in Kialla, were completed in May 2025 prior to the contractor going into liquidation in October 2025. Second question, can council also clarify how councillors' ongoing viability is ensured during and post the tendering process, as this speaks to any assurances of or warranty works that may arise overall? The response, contractor viability is assessed through a series of structured checks designed to confirm that they are financially stable, operationally capable and fully compliant with legislative and safety requirements. This includes reviewing financial statements and credit health as required, verifying that the contractor has the staffing, equipment and systems needed to deliver the work, and assessing their technical competence through past performance and referee checks. Their safety, quality and compliance frameworks are examined to ensure that they meet required standards, and their proposed pricing is analysed to confirm it is sustainable and not artificially low. Together, these checks provide confidence that the contractor can reliably deliver services throughout the contract term without exposing the organisation to operational or financial risk.
Very good. Thank you, Fiona. Councillors, page 7, item 8, deputations and petitions. On there, 8.1, petition Pine Road, Shepparton traffic hazard and road safety requirements. Councillors, there is a recommendation. Can I have someone put that forward as a motion, please?
I'll move that, Mayor Saley. The recommendation is that the council receive and note the petition titled Petition for Road Safety Improvements on Pine Road in accordance with Governance Rule 83.
Councillor Eadie, can I have a councillor second that motion, please? Councillor Wickham. Councillor Eadie, would you like to speak to it?
No, I won't actually, Mayor Saley, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wickham, would you like to speak to the petition? Any councillors like to speak against? Any councillors like to speak for? Councillors will go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Councillors, page 8, 9.1, contracts awarded under delegation December 2025 to January 2026. I note you.
I will declare a conflict, yeah.
Councillor Spinks. Councillors, again, page 8, 9.1, contracts awarded under delegation December 2025, January 2026. There is a recommendation. Can I have a councillor put that forward as a motion, please?
I can. That council notes the contracts awarded under delegation pursuant to a formal procurement process for the reporting period, and note the requests for tender advertised but not yet awarded.
Councillor Akers, can I have a councillor second that motion, please? Councillor Wickham. Councillor Akers, would you like to speak to the motion?
I know, just happy to endorse these contracts that are the one that's been awarded for the supply and construction of Harry Bird toilet replacement at Victoria Park Lake, and good to see some of the contracts out to tender, and certainly the provision for fruit fly. I haven't tried to say that before. There you go. Provision of Queensland fruit fly trapping grid services, something that's really important to the horticultural industry in Greater Shepparton and surrounds, and good to see the tender gone out. And quite exciting, of course, Councillor Summers not here, but to see the hard waste collection service go out to tender is also a milestone in our community.
Very good, thank you. Councillor Akers. Councillor Wickham, would you like to speak to the motion? Very good. Any councillors like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion? Vote. All those in favour? Motion carried and opposed. We will welcome Councillor Spinks back in. Councillors, page 10, item 9.2, S11A, Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation, in brackets Planning and Environment Act 1987. There is a recommendation. Can I have a councillor put that forward as a motion, please? Councillor Schubert.
Thank you. The recommendation is listed. I'll move as a motion on page 11 of 24. I won't read all out the names, and goodness knows what else. It'll take me a long time.
Just want to confirm that page, no, page 10, sorry.
Page 11 of 20, oh, sorry. I've got a different one that says thank you. I've got, yeah, thank you. 10 of 23, thank you, Mayor Saleh.
Yeah, I'll just get you, just read it sort of just clearly so it can be just noted specifically, sorry.
I move the recommendation on page 10 of 23 that's listed there. Thank you, Mayor Saleh.
Thank you, councillor Schubert. Can I have a councillor second that motion, please? Councillor Brophy.
Second that motion.
Councillor Schubert, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, I would, thank you, Mayor Saleh. The Chief Executive Officer has delegated authority to appoint council officers as authorised officers under various pieces of legislation. A staff member that's commenced or currently employed in the planning department and/or within a relevant position at council may be required to be an authorised officer for the purposes of applying the Planning and Environment Act 1987 and the regulations made under the Act. The report seeks to review and update the authorisation currently in place for council officers, authorise officers who have commenced work with the organisation, and revoke the authorisation of officers who are no longer employed by the organisation or who no longer hold a position requiring authorisation. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Schubert. Councillor Brophy, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor Saleh. Just to say that this is a normal process where we update and include any of the current authorised recipients being the authorised officers. I think there's some 40 staff members listed down on that and at various levels within the organisation.
Thank you, councillor Brophy. Any councillors like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion? And we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Councillors, page 13, item 9.3, councillor gift policy. There is a recommendation. Can I have a councillor put that forward as a motion, please? Councillor Brophy.
Thank you, Mayor Saleh. I'd like to put forward that the council adopt the council gift policy as attached.
Thank you. Can I have a councillor second that motion, please? Councillor Wickham. Councillor Brophy, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Saleh. Look, this is about having a councillor gift policy is about integrity and transparency. We're not taking large amounts of money in regards to a gift that's being put forward. And really, even though we look at the figures and the changes have been, yes, they are a five-fold increase in terms of the allowance before having to be declared, etc. But many would argue that an increase has probably have been, could have been incremental over the last few years and instead of coming at this point in time. So it's really a readjustment at this point in time to have a look and reflect the time and the administration and the fairness in being able to put those gifts process through. Look, we're not talking about AFL Grand Final tickets or cars that are given out or anything like that. And these days, even a meal to a charity event is sometimes well over $100. So we're not talking about large things, we're talking about small things here. Look, I'm not fussed whether it ever got up or not, because in some councils, they actually have a zero amount. Whether you get, a golf tee, you have to declare it. So I think we've got a really good balance here, a really equitable balance. There is a part regarding anonymous gifts as well. And with anonymous gifts, you don't have to accept them. I mean, it can be given to, passed on to the organisation or to charity, etc. So I think this is a really good safeguard for transparency and integrity for the community.
Thank you, councillor Brophy. Councillor, would you like to speak to the motion? Thank you. Any councillors like to speak against the motion?
Yes, Mayor Saleh, look, I'm concerned. I know that the increase has gone from 10 to 50, but in terms of the gift disclosure, but I would still appreciate us reviewing this in the next 12 months, because $50, goodness gracious, you can't even get a bunch of flowers for that nowadays. So I would really appreciate council officers keeping an eye on this to see that we're somewhere near the mark, how many gifts are handed in, how many gifts are, we don't know how many gifts are not accepted, etc., etc. So I'd really appreciate council officers keeping an eye on that for us.
Right, thank you, councillor Schubert. Are there any councillors that would like to speak for the motion? Any other councillors like to speak against or for the motion? No. Councillor Brophy, right or reply?
No, thank you, Mr.
Councillors, will go to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Just do that again. So all those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. How did I stop?
To the motion, probably.
We don't have that. Very good. Councillors, page 15, item 9.4, December 2025, Q2 forecast review. There is a recommendation. Councillors, can I have someone put that forward as a motion, please?
Happy to. That council endorse the 25-26 Q2 forecast review as attached.
Breakers, can I have councillor second that motion, please? Councillor Brophy.
Second that motion.
Councillor Akers, would you like to speak to?
Briefly, I mean, this report presents the December 25 Q2 forecast review, which considers budget performance for the 25-26 financial year compared to the 25-26 adopted budget, and Q1 forecast review, and again at the 31st of December 25. A lot of complexities in council budgets, as we know, and they take a bit of following, and I think this one is a bit of a doozy, but our bottom line is still very stable, and that's the important thing. It's interesting to note that for the second quarter, the Act requires that the CEO provide an assessment as to whether we need to provide a revised budget, and the CEO has done the due diligence and deemed that we do not require a revised budget, and council would obviously support that, seeming that our bottom line is on track. The December 25 Q2 forecast review provides a comparison of actual and budgeted results as at December 25 and presents revised budget forecasts based on current operating conditions. And so the operating position is stable. We're still projecting a $1.9 million surplus for this year, and that's only changed $100,000 as a result of the end of the Q1 forecast review. I'd have to say within the operating budget there's been a lot of unders and overs, is how I'd describe it, I guess, but we've still finished up with a bottom line right on track, which is good to see. And I mean, in any large business and budgeting, there's going to be that is going to occur. Our capital works is coming along. We've probably about 10 million variance, 10.65, and that's mainly due to some delays in the commencement of several projects, namely some at GV Link, Enterprise Park Stage 1, some road resealing, some gravel resheeting, and some Shepparton Inner North local area traffic management projects. But our capital works team are well aware that we expect that all to be caught up in the next quarter or two. So I'll leave it at that.
Councillor Akers. Councillor Brophy, would you like to speak to the motion?
I think Councillor Akers has summed it up very well. Thank you, Mayor Sarley. Just to say that it is good, that we are on track and we don't need to revisit the budget, which was set, more than 6 months ago, 7 or 8 months ago. We take a lot into consideration every month, just about nearly every briefing. We're updated with what's going on with the finances, so we can, pull the horse's reins at any stage in terms of these quarterly reviews to see where we're on track. And it is pleasing that we are on track. It is point in time stuff, and we're still projecting, as Councillor Akers said, a full year adjusted underlying surplus of $1.9 million there, and our liquidity is still really high, up near the 180%. So things are tracking along very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brophy. Any councillors like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion? No. Councillors will go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Page 19, item 10.1, councillor activity, December 2025 and January 2026. There is a recommendation. Can I have a councillor put that forward as a motion, please? Councillor Brophy.
Thank you, Mayor Sarley. I'd like to put forward that the council receive and note the summary of councillors' community interactions and informal meetings of councillors.
I'll second that motion, please. Schubert. Councillor Brophy, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Sarley. There's been a couple of months where there's been a bit of a hiatus with a number of people having breaks, etc. But for councillors, there's still a number of activities and business as usual in terms of getting out into the community. A couple of things that I'd like to mention would be certainly the Bridge Youth and Family Services and their new opening of their premises, which we attended there. I think it was on the corner of Rowe and St George's Road there. Fantastic new premises, and congratulations to them. Over in Mooroopna, of course, the Carols in the Park, which was very well attended, including camel rides, etc. It was a wonderful evening over there in Mooroopna, as was the New Year's Eve, the Great Shepparton Mooroopna New Year's Eve festival there, with Smack the band out at the front there, and hosted, of course, by the Rotary Club of Mooroopna and other associated service organisations there. Cricket Victoria ran with the activities in the park, the local team here at council, the big bash on the screen down at the lake, and that was well attended, and thank you to the Melbourne Renegades who came up to run clinics, etc. And last one I want to mention, which was a huge draw crowd again down at the lake, was the Hooked on Shepparton. What a fantastic event that was, to see so many families out there with the fishing rods. I think the ones that might have been tagged might have got away, but you know, it was a great evening. So well done, and well done to people like Charlie and that, and Kieran, who really promoted it hard.
Thanks, Councillor Brophy. Councillor Schubert, would you like to speak?
Just a couple of comments, just capitalising a little bit on what Councillor Brophy said. Very keen, International Dairy Week, what a huge event, the amount of money that brings into the region, and most of us got over there and the tourists, so it was well done. I'm really pleased to see the Australia Day celebrations, how well attended they were. And there was good representation. A bit unfortunate, a couple of the district Australia Day events couldn't align with the Shepparton Australia Day event, so a couple of people might have missed out on the Greatest Shepparton Overall Award, but all those functions were very well attended, and to those fellow councillors that made the effort for Australia Day, I express my appreciation and thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Schubert. Are there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion?
I might just say, Mayor Saley, that although no one's caught any of the tagged fish from the hooked on fishing, I can assure you that Charlie and I actually did put the fish in there, so keep trying.
Yeah, we did. Very good, Councillor Eddie. Any other councillors like to speak to the motion? No, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Councillors, page 22, item 11.1, landowner agreement, third-party native vegetation credit site. There is a recommendation. Can I have a councillor put that forward as a motion, please? Councillor Brophy.
Thank you, Mayor Saley. I'd like to put forward that the council authorises the Chief Executive Officer to sign and seal the document listed below.
Can I have a councillor second that motion, please? Councillor Wickham. Councillor Brophy, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor Saley. Just briefly, the document that's been signed and sealed is a landowner agreement document for a third-party native vegetation credit site for council to trade native vegetation offsets internally. The agreement is between council and the Secretary of the Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action. And what it is basically the removal and protection of native vegetation, which is administered through our planning scheme. When an application to remove native vegetation is approved, the applicant must purchase offsets that are designed to ensure that the equivalent amount of native vegetation is protected into the future. It's a little bit bureaucracy when you read it, but when you actually understand it, it actually makes a lot of sense. This is managed through DECA and through the Native Vegetation Offset Scheme, and council has a strong focus on protecting and restoring the natural environment. And we also must make purchases for offsets when we're doing it as well, and that might be in the case with where native vegetation has to be removed, which is unavoidable, unfortunately. What this does mean is it means that in the long run there'll be significant financial savings for us into doing internally there, ensuring the offsets are in our municipality where the native vegetation is removed, and also increases the internal efficiency about doing it as well. So permit times can, instead of being 4 weeks, can be probably 2 or 3 days. So I think it's a win-win across the board.
Councillor Brophy. Councillor Wickham, would you like to speak to the motion? No, very good. Any councillors like to speak against the motion? Any councillors like to speak for the motion? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Item 12, notice of motion amendment or rescission or received. Item 13, urgent business not included on the agenda. Any urgent business? No. Item 14, close of meeting, which I'll do now at 3:25 p.m. Well done.